Hey everybody, it's Andrew Hardman here, again with Decathlon. I want to apologize for not having a video out last week. We are in the thick of it with school. We are 2.5 weeks in, and with last week being the second full week, it was just very tough for me to get all the material together that I wanted to do for a video, and then also prepare my classes and my decathlon team. But here with the Labor Day weekend, I've got an extra day to kind of recalibrate, get everything back up to speed. And so hopefully we'll be able to provide you guys videos every Tuesday for going forward here. As always, don't forget to like us on YouTube, subscribe, get the alert for videos. Check out the website, zathlon.org, where you can find the blog, and then also, they have stuff to help out for decathlon for coaches and students. Demo Deck Talk, we're always there, and then especially check out the Facebook page. A lot of good stuff on the Facebook page for sure, as well. So today I'm not going to do anything, super enlightening. I kind of just want to take you guys to where we are right now, 2.5 weeks in as Dulles Decathlon, what tweaks we've had to make, and where we're going to go in the next few weeks as well, and hopefully can provide one of these, every month or so, just to kind of show everybody how we're doing, what we're doing, and maybe give you guys some insight, a little more insight into what we do. So I'm gonna start here with our team scorebook. So as you can see here, I hid their names for privacy purposes. But if I see if I can zoom in here a little bit. Nope. Does that let me zoom in? Let me see if I can zoom in here. There we go. Okay. So this is the full sheet. This is the total score sheet here. And so originally, for a while, we had it where each category was split out into its own. And while they're split out into its own from a perspective of where they are on the score sheet, I kind of decided to jumble them together for a few reasons. Two main reasons. Number one, our a lot of our honors and our scholastics are really close. As you can kind of see here, right? This is most of the honors and scholastics is in this kind of area, and our honors end right about here. So as you can see, we have 4 scholastics in our top 9, and in fact, we would have 4 on the team if we finish this up today, right? Or at least just based on the scores, of course. So I wanted to show the honors here, who are a lot of juniors. I have the grades over here. Right, we have a lot of juniors who are doing pretty well, but I didn't want them to think that just because they're top 3 in their category, they're going to make the team. Dulles has a tradition of having way more than 3 scholastics on a team. Each year I have coached, actually, we've never had a full plate of 3 honors. We have always had either 2 honors or 0 honors, like we did the first year we won state, large school state in 2016. That year we had 6 scholastics, which was awesome. That was a great team. So anyways, as you can see here, we have somebody averaging over 950 in each category. If you know who our scores are and you know who our people are, you could probably take one guess as to who that is. And then we have a lot of people averaging around 8 or a little bit over 850, between 850 and 900. Right, we see our second place here. We'll show our third place here in a little bit. Fourth place, fifth, sixth, right? They're all averaging over 850, which is super encouraging. Even seventh, right? They're literally 1 point from each other, which is nuts. And then we have some people just underneath, kind of in the 1600 range. This is also scholastic in the 1600 range. So that means that we have a lot of people averaging over 1800 in the scholastics and honors, which is super exciting. Especially because, and I'll get to this, but our quizzes are not that easy. So that's really nice. For a while I couldn't tell if we were doing really well or we were doing really not as well as I would like, because on some of the quizzes we definitely struggled. But what I kind of figured out is that we are doing really well because we're focusing on economics and music. Which, first off, if you don't know economics, like a lot of these juniors don't, walking right into it and trying to understand it is almost impossible, right? The process of the shifts of curves, how that affects surplus, how elasticity affects things. Microeconomics can be real tough. Macro is a little more reasonable because it's a little bit more based on just kind of memorizing ideas and facts, right? Whereas micro is a process, it's a system that all kind of works together. So, I'm pretty happy with the econ scores where they're at. I'll talk a little bit more about econ here in a little bit. With music, we got through fundamentals. We are done with fundamentals. I think we're actually done with the second section as well. So I'm really happy with where we are in music, especially compared to last year. Last year music was our weakness, right? That was the thing that prevented us from beating Lubbock. So really encouraged where we are with that. As you can see here, just a lot of people averaging, over 800, over 900. We got, quite a few people averaging over 900, close to it. And then, even the people struggling behind that, we have a lot of 700s, 600s. And you can see these right here. These are people who are not in the class or just taking quizzes when they can, which makes it hard to keep their scores kind of up to date. We usually don't like doing that, but schedule stuff. One of these people in particular is in the top band, and we are at the same class period as them, and she plans on being a professional musician. So we're not going to tell her, okay, well, it's either us or them, right? It's like, hey, you can do both. She totally can. That score is not indicative of who she is as a competitor. I'm really happy with where we are on music, especially music fundamentals. We talked a lot about it. We went through a lot of stuff there. And then if I scroll up here, you can kind of see the varsities. I think ranges to right around here to row 9, right? And as you can see here, we have one varsity doing really, really well, consistently challenging for one of the top spots, and it's consistently reading, and that's huge. And then we have the other ones doing okay, right? Averaging around 650 to 700 on, again, really tough quizzes, which, the second reason that I made the score sheet more broad as to put everybody in the same ranks is that because I need the varsities to recognize that, like, hey, I don't care that you're second or third in varsity. I need you to be better overall. I need you to be up there with, these guys, right? I'm really confident that our varsities will pick it up. There is some slack in here and there, but for the most part, they're reading almost every day, which is really exciting. And we've had some personal issues, home issues, kind of come into play here and there. So we've really pushed them to keep reading, and they've definitely responded. So I'm excited to see how they continue to develop in music and econ, and B, I'm really excited to see when we get to the ones that are a little bit more easier to cover, which will be science and art and soci. I think those are easier to understand and to read and to just do, but music and econ are a lot tougher. So anyways, that's kind of our total team, and then I kind of extrapolate that out down here. That would be our kind of team score based on this, and this is kind of where I want them to be. So it's not bad. I'm cautiously optimistic going forward. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is kind of go into, this is our total score sheet, but this is based off of our smaller score sheets, as you can see here, right? So here is kind of our daily results on the quizzes, and this is based off of, you might be like, why, what are these numbers? These make no sense. Well, this is based off the total number of questions in each quiz. Now, as you can see, they're supposed to be all 15, except for this one. This one's supposed to be 30. Well, so coach me made some mistakes, right? It's especially when it came to like aligning the reading to the quizzes, because we don't just use, hey, here's quiz 1 and 2. You're going to take these quizzes. We align the quizzes to our reading, not the reading to our quizzes, which means that I have to then kind of go in and make sure we're cutting off the right spots. And so, hey, a couple mistakes here. This one was real bad. This was on me for sure. And then this one, I had told them for, I think it was, I don't think it was Requiem. It was one of the music selections where it's like 5 pages of just like minute by minute, You know, like, hey, what happens in this part of the song? Hey, what happens in this part of the song? And I told him, I was like, look, we're not gonna worry about that right now. We'll worry about that later. And then I decided I forgot I said that, and then I literally the next day we had a quiz on like 10 questions on that quiz were based on that thing. So I was like, oh yeah, okay, we're not gonna do those questions then. And then I also kind of went back on that idea of not looking at the music listening breakdown, because I don't think we should leave any stone unturned. Uh, I was trying to be nice, and then I looked back and was like, actually, that's just really hurting them, I think, in the long run. So here are our averages throughout the quizzes, which, other than a couple bad days, um, and this one's not a bad day necessarily. This is just, the sample of questions was so small that it was bound to impact scores. Of course, not where I wanted to be, but stuff happens. And then right here as well, which I think was a test day for a lot of our kids, for a lot of our juniors especially. I think they had a test this day, and then this one as well. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with music again. And you can see also the yellows here. What I've done is kind of anybody who gets top 5 for that day, I highlighted here to give some more celebration into how well they did and stuff. And so I then kind of compile that over here on the top 5s. As you can see, somebody's had a top 5, I think, almost every day. Not quite every day, maybe? Yeah, every day. And then we've had, 9, 8. And this one also, as you can see, is broke down by category. I didn't want to go through the trouble of doing it for every single sheet I have. So we do have ranks within your group here, right? So yeah, all in all, really happy with music. I'm glad we're doing it first. I think this is probably going to be a mainstay going forward, unless music becomes super easy, and then we'll adjust it. Econ is where it gets a little grim. If you if you want it to be grim. So as you can see down here, averages are, some of them are real spicy, 563, right, throughout a whole day. Not nearly as high. The average here is 711. The average for music was 764. So a lot lower. But what the thing that gives me encouragement here is, I was an economics minor, so I have some ideas about econ, especially with micro. And so I went into the quizzes and I pinpointed the harder questions. I pinpointed the questions. I did not give them any of the simple ones for the most part. I give them the very difficult questions. So, for them to be doing this well on the quizzes that I'm giving to them is really cool. I'm excited about that, to be honest, because like some of those questions are just nuts. I've kind of always had a real, not issue, but certainly like a problem with the econ quizzes from Demodec, because it just doesn't feel like they are necessarily like phrasing those questions that well all the time, which I get. It's hard to do. In fact, way back in the day, I tried to write econ quizzes for Demodec and got turned down because my grammar was incorrect or something, which made me real salty. And so maybe that's why I'm saying what I'm saying now. But yeah, it's really tough to write hard questions, and like, I'm not gonna like sit here and bash Demodec for that, but also like, maybe this is the one they don't have students right. Maybe this is when they have maybe an econ minor or major right, somebody who understands econ really well. Because it's just the way they ask some of those questions, I'm not in love with. So, but yeah, so those two combined means that our score is gonna be lower here. But also, I'm really encouraged by how we're doing here. I think our students especially have a really hard time with econ right now. Last year when we lost some time due to Harvey, we actually just didn't do econ as a group. We did it later when we had the final 9, which you wouldn't know based on our scores, because we had a bunch of returners, but also we had some really good kids who were just really good at econ last year, and so. The seniors, this definitely tends to gravitate towards the seniors being better at econ right now, because last semester, in the spring semester, after we had finished competing, we had them go through all of micro. So they really know micro, hopefully pretty well. So yeah, it's again same thing with the yellow stuff. A lot less people with top fives here, a lot less top fives total, because it is harder, right? For sure. So, anyways, really encouraging with econ, for sure. I am cautiously optimistic that we'll do well at our first meet with that. So, anyways, that's kind of it for the score sheet and that kind of stuff and how we're progressing. I feel confident in our kids. Um, I still think our varsities need to step up as a whole. Even this kid, I talked to him and I was like, hey, you can still be better. How are you not beating our number one? You know, so I think it's hard to break them of the mentality that they're a varsity. I hate that we even categorize it from the beginning. I have to just so they can understand expectations to an extent and like, are they gonna make team? Are they not gonna make team? Kind of stuff. But like, I just really wish we could like tell them right at the end of the year, be like, hey, we're setting the team. Here's what category you're in. So, anyways, a little bit about our schedule. As you can see here, we're moving on. We're up to today, or tomorrow is this one. So we're up to the 70s in each of them. We're actually relatively in a good place in terms of how close they are. But econ will finish earlier. So actually, what we're gonna do, because we already have one major grade. We're gonna do a second major grade, but we need it in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, excuse me. So we're actually gonna push this up a day, and then test econ right here, and then test music here. Right, and then we'll be on to art and soci, which will end just before the Katie meet. So the hope being that we are going to do really, really well in those four, and then we're going to start working on music pretty soon once we get our lunch schedule set up thing. So we're not necessarily going to be great at math at that meet. Some people will be, right? We have some people who are already taking stats, or some people are just naturally good at math. But once we get that extra time in class, that will be really useful. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty optimistic about our hopes for this year, to hopefully finally kind of break the curse. Um, it's not because I think other teams are worse. I know for certain a lot of teams that were at the top last year are going to be great again, if not better. But I think we'll also be a little bit better. So here's the hoping, and hopefully some of our things that we've been doing in class are also going to help. So what are some of those things we've been doing in class? Well, it's been a few things. So I'll kind of take you through our daily day, and some adjustments we had to make. So first off, we have them for an hour and a half right now. In a couple weeks, when we change our entire lunch system, we'll have them for 2 hours. A little less than 2 hours. I think an hour 50, hour 55, which that extra 20, 30 minutes is crucial. And so we have them for an hour and a half right now. They eat lunch first, right? For the first 25 minutes, we give them time to eat lunch, go to the bathroom, do the stuff they need to do. If they need to go to another teacher and grab something, that's when you do it. And then the next 20 minutes is spent quizzing, 30 questions. And then once they're done quizzing, we have something for them to work on as review usually. So one thing we've been doing is combo quizzes from USAD. Combo quizzes are there's a quiz for each section of a resource, and they are a mixture of fill in the blank and multiple choice. Which my first impression was like, man, these are a little weak. These are like what teachers do on days they don't want to do work, and they just give it to the kids. But what we've been doing with it is that at the end of each section, we give them the combo quiz, and they can't use their resource. And for the first little bit, they're working on their own, right? To just kind of bring back some memories, right? Bring back some stuff from previous sections that they may have forgotten, or that they just need to make sure is fresh in their head. And then later on they can get together with their group. They're in groups of 4, and discuss it and kind of come up with some answers that they missed and stuff like that. Um, we've gotten good feedback on that from them. They think it's really useful because the more they think about it, the more that they hopefully succeed at it. And then that takes up 25, 30 minutes, and that's kind of it, right? That's most of the time. Now, there's also been some days where there's been a tough econ thing previously. And so I essentially majored in econ. I dropped 3 courses so I could graduate early. So I dropped it to a minor, which in hindsight, I wish I would have rather just, you know, taken my 4 years, but got me to Dulles, so I can't complain too much, right? So, anyways, yeah, so I took them through probably about 15, 20 minutes. I took them through some economic stuff. First off, with just the juniors, right? Just the new people, and just juniors, and new seniors. Took them through some stuff with shifts and consumer and producer surplus and stuff like that. And then had the seniors try to work on music fundamentals in a different room, which you know didn't really work out. They were kind of goofing around a little too much. And so then brought them all in to work on some other stuff, especially how inelasticity impacts surplus and revenue and stuff like that, right? Which is when you get it into them intuitively, like what an inelastic good even is, they're going to understand a lot more, right? About how it impacts revenue, how it impacts surplus, stuff like that, right? And so we've been doing a little bit of kind of econ roundup. They said that was really, really useful. They like that quite a bit. So we'll be doing a little bit more of that um, going forward. And I'll talk about econ in a different video. But yeah, so it feels like we're doing 2 important things, right? We're getting through really tough, I think possibly the 2 toughest things, which is econ and music. Some people might disagree with econ, but I think that if you don't know econ, it just is completely empty. Like, you have no idea what it's talking about. Whereas science, you can just kind of pick up and learn. Art, you can kind of pick up and learn because it's a little more visual, obviously. And then soci is just history, right? And so they've done history before. They especially with the '60s, they know a lot of the stuff already. And then literature is something we are just really good at because we work really hard at it. So I'm not too worried about that one either. So yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic going forward. And now that soon we'll have an extra 30 minutes, which will allow us to finally dig back into math. It may not be enough math for the Katie meet. We might not get through all of it. We probably won't get through all of it, and that's fine. I would rather them know it than just try to speed through it. We can take our time trying to understand statistics, and I think statistics is one of the more understandable years for math. I think when it's calculus, or especially when it's like a lot of pre-cal, it's really hard to get kids to understand that. But statistics is just taking large amounts of data and compiling it into useful, digestible information. And for a lot of those kids, that's not that bad, right? That's understandable, So anyways, I'm excited about that once we get there. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. We've been doing, after school wise, we have daily optional meetings, but they have to go to 1 a week. And then also Saturday meetings for 3 hours. Luckily having 4 coaches this year, that allows us to do it. And, we've kind of created, I think, a dynamic where me and Kelsey, the head coaches, were kind of like the mom and dad of the team, making sure they're on point. And then our other coaches, Mark and Felipe, are like the cool uncles. They come in, they're awesome people. So I think they get to goof around with them a little more, and the kids love them. So yeah, I'm happy with those. Some people utilize every single meeting. Some people come every day. A lot of people only come once, and that's fine. That's not a problem. Some people only come Saturdays, and also that's totally fine. Their schedules are different. Maybe even their priority for decathlon is different. So, if they're doing it just for a grade, hey, that's fine. We don't seem to have too many people who are just in there for the grade, because it seems like they're all working really hard, which is exciting. And it's not the 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 return on your investment for getting just a grade and a resume builder for how much you have to put in is not, I don't think, is necessarily. I think it tends to ward people off who want to do it only for those reasons, right? There are other ways to do that at our school, at least. There are AP classes where they can get, higher GPA boost, maybe some resume stuff. So, anyways, that's where we're at. I'll probably update you guys at the beginning of October when we are gearing up for our first practice meet, the Morton Rancher meet, which is going to be super exciting. I'm really optimistic about our chances. I don't even know if we're going to win that, just because we won't be done with everything, right? But last year we took the approach of, we took 2 weeks off before that meet from the schedule to just have them read on their own. Which, hey, we won that meet, but also I don't think we knew that information as well as we should have, right? So the more thorough we are, I mean, that might mean we lose this first meet. That might mean we lose the second meet in Friendswood, right? There are some great teams down here. But I'm hoping that translates into more success in January and March this year, I believe, right? It's right before spring break. February and March. We don't even have a January meet anymore, which is awesome. So great. We were able to move our district meet to January, which then allows us for a fourth meet, which is super exciting. It's right up to the registration deadline for Texas Decathlon. We're still figuring out how we're going to work that, because usually what we've done is our district meet, which is the December round 1 meet, that's when we decided the team. This year, I don't know if we're going to do that. We haven't quite figured out how we're going to drill that down. We've had kind of two main ideas rolling through our head. One is we do set the team there, right? We just set the team at the December meet anyways, and we do a in-house speech and interview scrimmages, which I think is actually better than the speech and interview judging they were getting anyways at the practice meet, because it's lay judges, as it were, so they're not as knowledgeable about the material and how they're supposed to do and stuff. So if we get our coaches and some other volunteers, we actually have a teacher at our school who once got a gold medal in speech at state for Texas. So, her coming in and helping out was a huge help last year. So, we bring some people in, and then I will judge speech and stuff, and my other coaches will judge interview. And then we can kind of make a much better guess on who's actually subjectively good, So that's kind of our first option, is just decide in December anyways. The second option we've been talking about is kind of taking maybe 15 to 18 people, right? Anybody within a competitive range at that point, from the December meet to the January meet, which just doesn't sit as well with me as I would like. We've tried this before, where we try to kind of put after a meet, tell some people basically hey, you're probably not gonna make this team this year. So and then we separated them, we moved them to a different room, and it felt terrible, and I don't want to do that. It didn't feel like it went with our ethos of trying to create a team. So I don't know how well I feel about just taking a certain few. The pro of it is that if we take 15 people and they're like, okay, you guys go for it, and then Christmas break becomes a lot more serious, right? They know what the stakes are, so they might put a lot more energy into that Christmas break, which my personal belief is that Thanksgiving break and Christmas break are the three most important weeks in the decathlon season. It's when, because since they're not in the class, you can either really push for success during those time periods, or they don't read at all, and then you're way behind. So that's the one reason I've been thinking about it. Another option is really just choose let them go all the way until January, every single person, and then kind of see where we're at. And maybe somebody who wasn't even close makes a big jump in January, and then all of a sudden they're our first place person, and it's well, guess we have to take them. They proved it. So anyways, a lot of different possible options there, but I'm super excited to have a January meet now as opposed to a December meet, because also it's very hard to get judges because it was during Christmas time. So they're all like, nah, I don't want to be here. Also, it's the end of the semester. They don't want to do any work. So anyways, we'll see how that goes. That'll be it for now. I'm going to sign off here. Again, follow, like, subscribe, Decathlon. YouTube, at Decathlon, or Decathlon on YouTube, at Academic Decathlon on Twitter, Facebook page Decathlon, Academic Decathlon, I believe is the name of it. And then Demodeck Talk, which has honestly roughly been pretty dead lately. Love to get some discussion back up there. But at any rate, if we don't get it there, maybe we'll get it on the Facebook page. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later.